welcome back to glorious downtown Boogertown. I'm Buford.
I'm Booboo.
And y'all back with another episode of the Hillbillies in the Holler podcast.
Absolutely. Against our better judgment.
Yeah. Well, last week we got to talking about
Aliens. Because everybody's talking about aliens there in Washington, D.C.
Well, everybody's at this point, what I'm hearing is, yep, they're real. We knew about it for a long time. Okay, we're good.
And I mean, 30 years ago, whenever, people would be freaked out. Now it's like, yeah, sure, whatever.
Man, there's a lot of other stuff
We've been expecting that. But no, it's...
Well, I would not have been surprised 30 years ago because 45 years ago, I saw a UFO.
Where at?
Germantown, Tennessee.
That's West Tennessee.
4th of July. It was right outside of Memphis. We had just watched the 4th of July parade go by in front of our house there on Farmington Avenue. And then my friends and I were all sitting back there and we saw a light come across the sky like a jet. And we thought, no, it's a jet, whatever. We're just talking and cutting up, and all of a sudden it stopped. And we all looked at it and we were like, jets don't stop. And then it went
Took off.
And we were like, well, they go that fast, but they don't turn that sharp. And then went for about 15, 20 minutes. Huh?
Doing that diagram.
It was all around, yeah.
Yeah.
And then they went and took off. And we all went, I'm going to go up to the house, go sleep, and pretend none of this ever happened. And that's what we did. But it has bothered me for 43 years. But I saw something.
President Jimmy Carter saw the same thing.
Yeah, moving fast, changing directions like it shouldn't have been able to, and gone.
Video I got at home. And
we talked about this on the last episode.
Episode, if you listen to the last episode, you talking about the diagram, what I saw out in California and how other people saw the same thing, is just it was before COVID, a couple years before COVID broke out, so about 2018, something like that. Pigeon Forge down there on the Low Pigeon River, saw this silver thing, looked like aluminum foil up in the sky, way up in the sky, reflection, and it dropped, and it was like a triangle. And it would just drop real soft, and when it stopped, it just took off as fast. I mean, just like you was talking about.
Yeah.
And I thought, I just kind of shook my head, and then all of a sudden I saw it drop again, same place, then went the other way. I saw it drop again, and it went the other way. I kept seeing it drop, standing there, and Junior's there, and he goes, "Shouldn't we be recording this?" And I did. I got it on my phone. You can see the reflection, everything. We're starting just.
All right, we're going to put that at the end of the podcast. So watch the whole podcast so you can see the video.
You have straightening. I mean, it's from the phone, so it's best quality it can be. But what's odd about all that is the people that describe the same thing that you saw, I saw, what they're testifying in Congress, what everybody saw, is if you're studying like frequencies and stuff, and the time and the space and all that theory and everything, my theory is they're not from another planet. My theory is it's us.
From another time?
From another time.
Yeah, I think so too.
That's my theory. I think we have figured out.
I think it's our our descendants from the future, way in the future.
Way in the future.
They're coming back to check on us. It's like anthropologists, but instead of digging up bones, they're just coming back and looking at us.
Because they can.
Right.
And they're doing that over there in Europe and Oak Ridge with that CERN and that reactor where they're crashing those atoms and they're tracking that speed. And you're looking at frequency and time when you realize quantum. Y'all remember your TV, when we had 3 channels? And that one
way back here in the day?
You had that one channel with all the snow on it. That's what everything looks like.
Yeah.
But we've got senses that can detect and sense and shape.
Break out patterns.
Yeah. But if we didn't have these senses, every single thing would look like that snow on that TV. But because of frequency and time.
You heard it here first, folks. Boo-Boo has broken the code.
I've broken the code. And what were we talking about? Oh, we're talking about aliens. So anyway, this old boy that's testifying there in Congress, you can Google all this, look this up.
We ain't making a bit of it up.
We're not making a bit of this up. This is, you can look at, I'm serious. Learn
Check it out.
Check it out. So anyway, one of those crashed vehicles he was talking about, he steps into it. And when he steps inside it, he said literally this vehicle at the most was probably, now don't quote me on this because if you look it up, you'll see the exact numbers. I don't say it's 40, 45 feet. But it was a triangle. Remember what I told you I saw?
Yeah.
Okay. So he goes into this vehicle. He said when he stepped inside, it was breathtaking because it was like being inside a football stadium. As far as you could see, that big.
Wow.
But he's in a vehicle that's only the size of 40 feet. He said, I was so shaken that I didn't explore that much, that when I stepped back out the door, it was dark. And my watch said I'd been in there 4.5 minutes, but the guy says I was in there 4.5 hours. Wow. Is that not wild? Now that's a testimony.
Yeah.
That's a testimony, from that guy and everything. 4.5 hours, and he was in there 4.5 minutes because the difference between time, dimensions, and the whole thing over in Europe and what they're doing at Oak Ridge, working with the dimensions and everything, realizing there is a thing with different timelines and everything that now is a constant, and tomorrow everything's a constant.
Yeah.
So it's like a photograph. So this other guy testified saying that yes, if what we can do now with our technology is we can go back and look at things in time.
Yeah.
Not like in video shape or just actually walk in amongst us, but everything's like a picture that they can actually go back and they're seeing it dialed in like a picture.
That's crazy.
But the main thing is going forward, and the
So
whole thing being a now.
As we might hope to be able to go back and see what happened with a Stegosaurus or a Tyrannosaurus Rex, and hope that we could go back and capture those images and just see what they were doing. We're looking at people from our future coming back and watching us in real time.
But the whole thing is being able to dial it in, the frequency and everything, and how to dial it in to get where you need to be and what you got to do. Because there's too many things. Because I've got as we sit here, you've got your own world.
Yeah.
I've got my own world.
Yeah.
Well, we're just two people sitting here.
They bounce off each other a lot.
I know.
It's your world to my world.
Right. But for them to need to go
In my world, I'm a hero. In your world, I'm just a
zero.
Yeah. That's my brother, folks. That's my brother right there. So
I get a lot of time to think when I'm up there in that airplane crop dusting Boogertown there.
Yeah.
So
the thing is, we ain't got no crops, but he's
We
up
got
there dusting them.
I'm dusting them. No, we got crops.
We ain't supposed to talk about that.
Oh, that's right.
Not till the governor signs that thing.
That
Yeah.
little thing. When he signs that
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, once he signs it, we talk about
Well, I
it.
think everybody knows there's aliens. It's just
I really do too. I don't think there's many people that don't believe it.
well, and another thing with the frequencies and the thing and the parallel. People talk about parallel universes and time and everything, and it goes back to like this one guy. He wrote a book. He was talking about. Matter of fact, he was an atheist that wrote the book, and he's like, after he did all his study on time and theory and quantum, he found out there had to be a God.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Oh no!
It freaked him out.
Yeah,
Because it had to be intelligent design.
it wouldn't have happened otherwise.
Because if time, what is time? Time is law. For there to be a clock, there's got to be a clockmaker. For there to be a law, there's got to be a lawmaker.
Yeah. Well, yeah, absolutely.
And so now with that new Hubble telescope and the new lens and everything, scientists are arguing, and Google this, don't take Boo-Boo's word for it. There's a big fight in the scientific community where they're like, there was no Big Bang.
Well, here's my thing, and this is the thing.
You can Google it.
My argument to this is, okay, Christians say God said, "Let there be light," and there was light, and that was it. And scientists say there was a Big Bang, and that was it. Who says those are mutually exclusive?
Well, I think they run hand in hand if you look at what Einstein said.
Who says that what scientists are reading as the Big Bang was not God saying kaboom, doom? But if there was nothing, which is what the Bible says, in the beginning there was nothing,
Right.
and in the nothing there was God, and God said, "Let there be light,"
And there was light.
So why is that not the Big Bang? Why is
It
that?
could be the Big Bang, but I guess what I'm talking about, I'm kind of jumping ahead, was with what Einstein said with the universe and space and everything. Picture like a flat piece of paper. With the physics and everything, it can kind of do this like a wave.
Well, sure.
Okay, it's not flat. It's not
Right.
solid. It's not like wood.
Right.
It's constantly moving and everything. Well, if our mindset back in the '60s would be to say, I'm going to go to that part of the universe, it's going to take me 300 million light years. But if you bend and fold that thing, you can be there instantaneously. That's what they're trying to do in Oak Ridge and over in Europe.
Well, that's what Star Trek's warp theory was. Here is space, and we're going to warp it.
Yep.
And you're going to go from this space to this space.
But that wasn't Star Trek. That's Einstein.
I know that.
That's all Einstein.
That's what Star Trek was all about. The whole warp engine thing
was based on
about
science.
Warping space and taking you from this spot to this spot, but not having to cross all that distance.
That's amazing when you think about that.
It really is. And I'm going to tell you what's most amazing of all that, and I think all of our fans out there watching on the show will appreciate this, is that Boo-Boo can grasp what we're talking about.
That'll scare y'all to death.
That'll scare y'all that Boo-Boo's going, yeah, I totally understand the warping of space and time and the quantum mechanics thing, and and I'm over here with an advanced degree going, I'm barely getting it. And he gets it.
I get it. Well, and we're talking about God, intelligent design. They're finding out now that our DNA in our body is carrying memory.
Yeah.
Like our brain. Like a memory code on your computer. Memory. Your DNA, your human DNA is designed that way as a survival skill, because let's say, how many of y'all had a situation where you saw several brothers and sisters? So I'd never guess that was that guy's brother. That one ain't afraid of nothing. That's scared of everything. Now usually the older child is more conservative and dialed down, because when they were conceived, those parents were probably struggling to get by. Now, years later, after having that child, they probably got a little financially safer and better and more comfortable. Their DNA altered and changed to release and so the other child is more free spirited.
See, that's where you and I differ, because you're the oldest in your family, and I'm the youngest in mine. I'm 4 days older than you, but you're the older child.
But how many of you?
And that affects the dynamic of our relationship and the whole deal.
But what about people who are scared of snakes that have never seen a snake in their life, but they're scared of it?
Oh, no, yeah.
That means some great grandparent down the road got bit by a snake, scared by a snake, and when that moment happened in their day that scared them to death, where it be that lion chasing them up a tree,
or the cat pulling the snake out from under the dryer
with a Civil War blade, squeaky.
Go back a couple episodes, you'll see that.
Their DNA constantly is being altered with memory. And so when you pass that on to your offspring as a survival skill, that kid is living a life scared of cats, scared of snakes,
and never seen either one.
Never seen any of them, but that was passed in their DNA. And that's why a lot of people don't like to ride roller coasters. They're scared of heights. Some people ain't scared of anything.
Yeah.
Because their ancestors never went through a trauma. They didn't have a trauma that altered. I'll give you an example. I know a person, a family member, PTSD, what they used to call shell shock.
Yeah.
All the kids are scared of balloons. Any popping sound, they'll about jump under the kitchen table. They didn't go to war, but their granddad did. I mean,
he's scared of that popping
but
sound.
it was passed down. That loud sound. Stay away from loud. Google it. It's all on there. But that DNA, your DNA's got that, and so that's a design.
Yeah.
Means there has to be an intelligent design. You may be out there right now saying there's no God, but you can't argue that there wasn't intelligent design. We just choose to call him God. But there had to be intelligent design.
Yeah.
You could say it was we call him God. Yeah. Anybody can pull this one off to me as God.
Give it whatever name you want.
But at the end of the day,
it boils down to
God. But when you start trying to wrap your head around this stuff with the DNA having memory and everything, and then and people are like, well, that's not in the Bible. I said, well, Ezekiel saw a wheel in the middle of a wheel.
Yeah.
Like chariot of fire.
Yeah.
The cloud of fire. There's so many things in there that goes hand in hand with everything that's going on. How about this one? Do you remember when I told you about that ship where you stepped in there for 4 minutes and came out?
Yeah.
4.5 hours?
Yeah.
In the Bible, don't it say a day to him is like 2,000 years?
There you go.
But we'll be passing the offering plate here in a little bit. We're going to have to... It's a rainy day, folks. I'm just telling you, it's a rainy day. It's been raining. It's going to be raining today and tomorrow. And we're chasing rabbits and still soaking wet. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
So welcome to our world. That's what we do.
I know, right?
See, he's the Mountain William. We're usually just talking like this all the time. We thought, well, let's just be real, you know?
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
But that's what we do. We're going down the road, sitting in the car talking. We just like, what about that?
Oh man, I'm telling you. Well, there's a lot of rabbit holes to go down. That's for sure.
Well, if you're talking about parallel universes in the quantum theory, hey, a lot of people don't realize music's tuned to 440 hertz.
Mm-hmm.
No,
I know
it's
that.
supposed to be 432. Everything's 432 hertz. The universe is 432 hertz. The grass is 432. Me and you are 432. Every single thing is 432 hertz.
And music's at 440.
No, it was at 432 until Hitler got his scientists to find a way to try to control people and impress upon them. They wound it up to 440 hertz. Now, they still keep it at 440 because back then they didn't have PA and sound systems like we did today, and musicians found that they were louder and could be heard further out in bigger rooms at 440 than 432.
Whoa.
Yeah. You want to do something? Google this. Go on YouTube, look up Handel's Messiah, and play it at 440, and then find the one at 432. At 432, you will collapse in a chair, and the hair will stand up on your arms, and you will be the most relaxed and calm you've ever been in your life.
And at 440?
440 kind of winds and tightens you up. And you don't realize it until you start comparing 432 and 440, the difference between them, because we are so you know, you ran into a lot of great singers that'll sing off pitch.
Oh, yeah.
They're tuned 432, but they're trying to sing 440.
Whoa. Wow.
Makes sense now, don't it?
If you're blue and you don't know where to go to, why don't you go where fashion starts?
Hey, like
wrong.
the monks.
Yeah,
bowls,
yeah.
That's 432.
Oh my gosh.
The sound of the earth is 432.
It's like the golden mean.
When you ever hear people, blind people talking about they can hear the hum of the earth?
Yeah.
The hum. That's 432.
That's 432.
That's 432 is that hum.
Wow. Wow. Folks, my mind is blown. And if yours isn't, go spend about 15
Go
minutes
on
on
YouTube,
Google,
look at all this stuff.
YouTube, look at all this stuff, and we'll all have our minds blown together.
When you see a bowl of water vibrating and you see those beautiful rings, that's 432.
Wow. That's insane, bro.
It'll blow your mind, especially when you see light and light at 432 versus 440. 440 is like this. 432 is like, oh, it's beautiful.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's 432 cycles per minute, or whatever it is.
Yeah. But what it boils down to, back in the early 1900s, Hitler got the scientists and said, what can I do? What can we do to control people?
Wow.
And we've stuck with four. And there've been some recordings by groups like the Isaacs. I think they won a Grammy or a Dove Award. They did a whole recording with acoustic instruments tuned to 432. You're talking about beautiful. Beautiful.
I think we need T-shirts. 432.
I'm tuned to 432.
I'm tuned to 432. Dude,
We're learning things now.
that's insane.
It is.
That hurts my head.
Well, and on YouTube, there's rock and roll songs that we grew up on, to where you can A and B it, to where they've cut it to 432, 440. So you hear the 440 that you heard when you was at the sock hop, and then when you hear it 432, and then you go back to 440, it almost sounds demonic. It's so dark and haunting, to where when you go back to 432, it's like, man, that's cool. That's a nice little groove. But 440, it is dark and heavy on you.
432.
Mm-hmm.
Folks, go out there and find it. Go out there and dig. Do the work. And if you don't
Take my word for it. Don't take my word. Look for it yourself. I did. That's how I found out
We'll
this
post
stuff.
those links on the Facebook page. We'll put them out there. Here's this at 432. Listen to it and tell me that you don't sound different.
You ever watch anybody tune a piano?
Yeah.
You know that light? See that light? You know when it got real pretty lined up? That's 432. And then when it got kind of out of sorts, is at 440.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
My head hurts.
It just took me 7 years, but the Mountain William is stumbling. He's limping. He's gone down to one knee.
7 years. 7 years. I think we're talking 42 years. Shh. Yeah, 42 years. But you did. You shook me up, dude.
Isn't that wild?
But you remember what Esther used to call me?
You big dummy.
No,
Okay.
no,
That's
not
separate,
that
separate.
Esther.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about, Esther, Miss Esther. She called me Mr. Webster.
Mr. Webster.
She used to call me Mr. Webster.
I was thinking dictionary. That's
Yeah,
like
it was all
dictionary
about
pops in my head.
dictionary. She
Mr.
said,
Dictionary.
because she
You're
knew
Mr.
I would
Webster.
pop out words that the rest of the kids had no idea what it was. And she called me Mr. Webster, which is one of my favorite nicknames I've ever had.
Mr. Webster. Well, she's a sweet lady. She was.
She was. God rest her soul.
Yes, sweet lady.
Oh, son.
We learning things now.
We are out there on the edge of things.
We are. We're pushing it.
We're talking
Yeah,
about
right there.
I saw the greatest thing on Facebook recently. This guy was talking. It was a animation. It was two ghosts laying side by side in a cemetery, and the one ghost said, "You know what? I thought when I died, I would all of a sudden have all of this great insight into the history of the universe."
Yeah.
The other one, he goes, "I know, right? It didn't happen." He goes, "No, because I thought I'd know about like the JFK conspiracy." "Oh yeah, and this, yeah." The other one goes, "And the faked moon landing." And the other one went, "The what?" "The moon landing. They faked that." He goes, You know we went back to the moon 5 times, right?" "Well, yeah, but," and Apollo 13, did they fake that? What were they faking about almost dying trying to get to the moon? The other one goes, "Just enjoy the conspiracy."
That was a commercial for duct tape.
Right.
They were just trying to sell duct tape.
That's all that was. Yeah. Who said you knew your grandmother was a redneck because she thought that wrestling was real, but the moon landing was fake.
Well, there you go. I know some wrestlers, and it's real them.
I know that. Absolutely. We know several of them.
And you see their fingers all bent the wrong way and eye facing the other side of the head. Yeah, there's a little real
It's all
going
fake. The fight is real. Whatever they're fighting about might be fake, but the fight is real.
Make no mistake.
Make no mistake. Them
As
boys-
you land on that concrete on your head,
Shit,
there's
dude.
nothing fake about that.
Ain't nothing gonna
You
make
might have
no-
knew it had to happen.
We were just kidding. No, you might have been kidding, but you still landed on your head.
You said like Bob Nelson.
I mean, we were just mucking around.
Well, old Bob's doing it.
He's doing good. He's doing good. He's got his cancer in remission.
That's
which
awesome.
is great. And he's
Bob Nelson,
performing.
one of the funniest comedians out there.
Dude, I'm telling you what. Me and old Danny DeVanny used to
Well,
sit.
put a link out there so you go follow Bob.
Yeah.
Bob's great.
Me and old Danny DeVanny used to sit backstage at the Comedy Barn, and we're within a year of each other's age. I think he's 11 months younger.
So
than me.
you're remembering his
And-
HBO special and all that stuff.
And we're
Me too.
sitting,
I'm like,
we're sitting back there, and he's on stage just killing this audience. And Danny and I keep looking at each other going, "We're working with Bob Nelson. I know."
what? The
If
one
y'all
that-
don't remember, Bob Nelson, he was on the.
He was a pallbearer for Rodney Dangerfield.
He was, yeah.
Rodney
he,
discovered
he,
it.
he used to open for Rodney for years, but he was on the Bob Hope All-Star Football Special in like
We
1978.
put them balloons in
And
his
he had balloons under his
Buddy,
shirt.
dude.
He'd come in and go like, Robert Westbrook, Harvard University, quarterback. And then he'd run off. And then he'd come back on and be like, Leroy McCoy, University of the Ozarks, tailback. I don't really have a tail.
And then the tail helmet be sideways,
Yeah.
the eyes be crossed. He
Yeah,
goes,
yeah.
"Buddy."
Yeah, but actually, that joke was not on the 1978 Bob Hope special. The one about Leroy McCoy from the University of Ozarks, tailback. I actually wrote that joke for
Oh,
Bob.
that's awesome.
He told me, he goes, "I want to do a hillbilly one," and I went, "Oh, I got it."
Yeah.
And I said, "I'm a tailback. I don't really have a tail." And it's in his act today.
That's awesome.
But I wrote it for him, and I love him like he's family.
I
He
think
really
one
is.
of my favorite, and there's nothing worse or better than for a comedian to be struggling with a crowd that just don't get it.
Oh,
and we all get it.
And we've been there.
We've
Yeah.
been there so many times, and I was backstage, and this crowd they weren't getting Bob. And it's all I can do, just want to go out there with a chair like a wrestler and go, "Don't you know this is Bob Nelson?" Just start wearing people out.
The most important part of the football equipment is the helmet
He's pointing at his
and
shoulders.
the shoulder my pads.
And he's holding his head when he says, shoulder my pads. He holds his head.
I love it. If you have not seen the movie Brain Donors, you need to watch it. It's Bob Nelson and John Turturro and Mel Smith, who was in The Princess Bride. Don't even think about Don't even think about trying to yeah. But it was the three of them, and it was a remake of the Marx Brothers Night at the Opera. But it was set in a ballet. But John Turturro played the Groucho Marx character. Mel Smith was the Chico character.
Okay.
And Bob Nelson was the Harpo character.
Oh.
He spoke, but he was childlike and innocent, just like Harpo always was. It's one of the best movies you'll ever see.
What's that boxing character?
Jiffy Jeff.
Jiffy
Jeff. What?
He's actually just like he's trying to bite his ear. He's trying to...
Now, if you go on YouTube and look up Bob, and you see anything before 1990, just be prepared.
Don't have the kids around.
Don't have the kids around. It's going to be dirty. Bob gave his life to the Lord in the early 90s and became a clean comedian at that point. So there are older videos of him being not so clean, but he's part of our tribe of clean comedians today.
And a friend. And we love
dear
Bob. We got to put a link out there. Y'all need
Bob, if you're listening, we love you.
Love you. Come to the holler.
Absolutely. Oh man, well, this has been a great time, man. We've had a lot of fun.
It's been different. We've never had one like this. How many podcasts we've done so far, and we've never had anything like
over
this?
130.
And we've never done one like this.
Yeah.
Wow.
But we sure do appreciate y'all being
What a
here.
way to go! What a way to end the ball.
We got some really
We may get
exciting things coming up here.
Everybody unsubscribe, and they're like, "We're done with these idiots."
No. We got some really exciting things coming up here real soon in the future. We can't tell you about it now, but if you're listening to it 6 months from now, you'll already know because it's going to be in the commercial.
Because in time and space and the theory... Oh, okay, go ahead.
We sure do appreciate y'all listening to us. If you would like to get a Boogertown road sign, the most stolen item in the Great Smoky Mountains, email us at meetbuford@gmail.com for information on how to get those Boogertown road signs. Now, if you would like to give us an idea for a future episode, things we could talk about, whatever, just...
let this be a lesson. This is what happens when you don't give us an idea.
Exactly. But go to that same meetbuford@gmail.com to leave messages. And thank you so much for listening. Tell your friends about us. Go on our YouTube channel.
Subscribe.
Hit the notification bell. So
watch those videos. There's some fun stuff out there.
Oh, man, I'm telling you.
The shorts and the reels are real funny and
blast.
They're short and the reels.
They're short and they're real. But thank you so much for watching us. Hey, Gator, if you're listening,
Howie Mandel
is still doing fine. In the meantime, I'm Buford.
I'm Booboo.
Y'all be good to each other.